This morning we were watching Finance Minister Tito Mboweni says the economy is not growing at the rate it should be. And Heidi Giokos, you were there, and I'm sure he had many elaborative ways of explaining why it's not been growing. What did he tell us?
So today was, I think, the start of a very important discussion between Finance Minister Tito Mboweni, other government departments such as Economic Development, Trade and Industry, and academics, professionals and business partners to try and figure out how the country can boost economic growth and, stimulate economic growth, because we've seen it lagging behind for a number of years. However, the big question is this just another talk shop? Because we do know and we have established that the country is not growing as it should, and what are they actually going to do? But this meeting was called today to try and bring up key ideas, key policy proposals to establish what needs to be done in order to stimulate this economic growth that the country needs. Not much came out from our Finance Minister Tito Mboweni. All he basically said was this is the start of it, and this is going to form the basis of what will they present to Cabinet next year, January. And it's very important for them to discuss this, because our country just comes out of a recession. We have a very high unemployment rate, and all of that can be away with if we deal with stimulating the economy properly and, bringing in the much-needed growth and investment that this country actually needs.
They were calling it a colloquium, I think, yes, was the term that they were using. So we know Tito Mboweni was there. He didn't give too much away. I know the media were only there for the first part of it, but they're pulling in some very, very big names. I mean, a Harvard University professor, Ricardo Hausmann. I mean, it's not someone I've had the pleasure of interviewing, but this is a man with a pedigree that is going back decades in helping countries that have just come out of recessions and how to capitalize literally on that, isn't it?
Very key professionals and academics coming to the country to discuss this. And this is not the first time that Professor Ricardo has been in the country. It is the second time he's here, and it's for the very same reason, to discuss policy proposals for economic growth. I mean, that's what he masters in. That's what he does. And he was called back to try and assist the country to deal with this. He specifically spoke about how in 2004, South Africa had accelerated growth, and since then it's really been lagging behind, and that's something that the country needs to deal with. Minister Mboweni spoke about how it's not just professors from Harvard University, but rather economists and professors from South Africa as well that are here and actually deal with the challenges that this economy faces every single day. But I mean, the big question for me as a journalist that stood out and that looks at the economy every day was what is the government actually going to do? Because we know what our problems are. We know where the country's lagging behind. We know that we have very high unemployment rate. Poverty is just increasing, inequality, and we know these issues, but what is government actually going to do? And that was something that we did pose to Finance Minister Tito Mboweni, and he basically said that this is what today is going to deal with. What are we actually going to do? What are the tangible and concrete solutions that we're going to bring forward to Cabinet?
Yeah, it's no longer a case of trying to identify what the problems are. You've just basically given it to me in the last 30 seconds, and we can keep on talking about that. Today's about finding solutions. Is this a one-day colloquium, or is this going to run over a few days? And when do we get some kind of report back?
So that was also another key question, is this just a once-off? But I think with the new administration that's coming, you must remember that Tito Mboweni he's quite new into this, into this administration under President Cyril Ramaphosa. So he's obviously trying to find new ways to tackle with this. And something that he did mention was that we are looking at economic growth and boosting the economy in the wrong way. And we need to start thinking outside of the box. So today they're going to deliberate throughout the whole day with all these masterminds in the room, and they will probably revert back to the public mid-Jan and then present that as well to Cabinet to try and get that on paper.
And no doubt when we get some clarity of what today was about, Heidi Giokos, you'll be on that story for us. As always, a pleasure having you with us. Out this morning covering that colloquium, as the word with Tito Mboweni. It seems to be heading up to try and find the solutions, the actual tangible nuts and bolts solutions to the problems of our economy. Now, coming